Hey guys, hope everyone's doing well today. Really just wanted to make a quick video showing a little project that I did. Kind of think it may be cool for people who are interested in pursuing tournament bass fishing to whatever level that may be. Um, well, really, this is probably going to pertain to the guys who are looking to go pro, and or another thought process here, guys who are interested in living in a part of the country where they can um, maximize high level tournaments, meaning, um, right, like especially I live in Colorado. Our biggest tournament pays $5,000. Maybe there's one that's slightly more than that. A lot of parts of the country, there are certain lakes where there's just a lot of money to be won on those lakes. And I've always thought, as far as making money in tournament fishing, it's either make it to the top level or live in an area like you see a lot of guys do out west, further west than where I'm at, getting really good on those bodies of water and making enough through those tournament earnings. If there's big enough tournaments, enough people fishing those tournaments. So what I basically did is, and this has been I probably have 8 to 12 hours into this spreadsheet. It's kind of crazy. I never thought I'd be kind of into spreadsheets, but this kind of stuff with bass fishing fires me up, and I like the analytical part of it. So I broke down all the bass fishing lakes in the country in relation to major events. So how my scoring system is going to work, I guess probably the best thing, let's bring in the spreadsheet. One second here. There we go. Okay, hopefully you guys can see this. So really my thought process with this was to break down and create a scoring system with all of the tournaments across the country in the last 5 years. And then we'll also go into 3 years. I can't quite think that. There we go. Okay. So a couple of things we need to get off to really how I can put the scoring system. So I like putting numbers to things. Feel like it's really one of the only ways you can be analytical with this stuff. Obviously, there's going to be certain situations with all these lakes. Lakes go through cycles. Some lakes get hit a lot. Other ones, there's there's contracts with BASS and Major League Fishing with all of these different cities and towns. And to me, the best way to break things down were to have a point system. And I've got 2 points awarded for any pro tournament, and this is what I'm considering pro, is any entry fee over $2,500. So or that top level, right? Entry fees have kind of been goofy, but let's just say, for argument's sake, the top level, I'm going to consider Bassmaster Elite Series, Major League Fishing, the Tack Warehouse Pro Circuit, formerly the FLW Tour, and then the NPFL, new for 2021. The reason I included the NPFL, I understand it's a new league, but the entry fees are $5,000 a tournament. Okay. How I'm basing all of this off is the entry fee level. So I awarded 1 point for any, I'm going to call them semi-pro tournaments. I know this is going to may bother some people, but Toyota Series, Bassmaster Opens, right? A lot of tournaments every year. I'm going to consider those 1 point, and it's an entry fee over $1,500, $2,500, or between $1,500 and $2,500. So hopefully that kind of makes sense as far as the scoring system goes. Now, as far as time period, I decided a 5-year period would probably be a good representation of what lakes are currently being utilized. Now, I also broke down a 3-year time period just to kind of see the differences. I don't think it really makes sense to go further back than that, because I feel like some of those contracts, and things are going to change, right? But I feel like some of those contracts with like Beaver Lake with FLW, right? With when Walmart was a big sponsor to FLW, Beaver Lake got fished a lot. No one hardly goes to Beaver Lake anymore, tournament trail wise. So that is why I chose the 5-year timeline. So really what I did is I broke down all the lakes that those tours have gone to in the last 5 years. Okay, so starting in 2016 up to 2021, all the tours that I listed there. And then I basically said, okay, over the last 5 years and over the last 3 years, let's see what the average points are. Again, 2 points for the pro level, 1 point for the semi-pro level. One interesting fact, 79 lakes is what I came up with as far as the number of lakes. And I'm just realizing something now for those West Coast guys. I should have probably included the U.S. Open on Lake Mead. I would have, even though the payout's really big, I believe your entry fee is still right around $2,000. So I should have included all of the WAN Bass tournaments in this as far as Western stuff goes. I did include all the FOW Western stuff. But anyways, it's not going to make a point. It's going to be a moot point for these top tournament lakes because obviously if it's not a $5,000 entry fee, minus the year that Bass swung west, it's not going to make a difference on these top lakes, which I did include those as well. So anyways, okay, so 79 total lakes. I thought that was kind of an interesting number. 79 lakes across the country are what these tournament organizations have gone to in the last 5 years. It's a lot of lakes. It'd be really cool to bucket list every single one of these lakes. So the biggest thing for me is I need to make it clear to everyone that 2020, 2021 were sort of off years, right? With COVID, 2020 made the Elite Series schedule, Major League Fishing schedule. Everyone had to consolidate quickly to fish tournaments close together. So that could have changed scheduling. Obviously, also municipalities and different states, countries had different laws regarding or regulations regarding COVID and whether or not anglers were allowed to go to those places and where they could host an event. So there's obviously some discrepancy with all of this. So just want to make sure and make that clear with everyone. So let's get into it, I guess. Let's start with the top 5. Well, let's go in on the 5-year point system. Let's break down really the top 2, 3. Let's go to the top 10 points. As far as the whole carp issue, the grass issue in Kentucky Lake has kind of halted tournament organizations from going and hosting big tournaments there. Therefore, I am considering it red. I would not consider that into the top 10 simply for that reason. So 9th on the list, which tied for 6th, is Gunnersville, Alabama. Obviously, big one there. Huge tournament fishery. Major pros live all around Gunnersville. Wasn't all that big of a surprise. Mississippi River. This kind of was a little bit of a surprise to me. As you can see, it gets hit pretty consistently. Every year it's getting 2 or 3 points. It's really cool. I just finished up watching the Major League Fishing title, or Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit title on the Mississippi River. It's really, really cool. I think that place is awesome. You can go catch smallmouth on the river. You can go catch largemouth in the backwaters, frogging, flipping, that kind of a thing. That one surprised me to be in the top 10. Harris Chain in Florida, not all that big of a surprise. That one, again, let's see. That one was technically in 4th without any ties there as far as the point system goes. Makes sense. I thought Florida Lakes, okay, kind of interesting how many are not included in here, right? Kissimmee Chain's way down here. And this is sorted, guys, in the 5-year order. Hoping this kind of makes sense. Grand Lake, Oklahoma makes a lot of sense. To me, that one is fairly consistent minus 2020. No major tournaments were held there in 2020, which is interesting. So 16 points were awarded to Grand Lake, puts it in 3rd. Okay. Now, as far as 2nd place, there's a 3-way tie between Chickamauga, Tennessee, Okeechobee, Florida, and Sam Rayburn, Texas. Okay. Rayburn doesn't surprise me. Rayburn gets hammered every year. I think this is interesting too, because what I've kind of done is looked at this and compared it to the 2022 season. That the only tournament trail that's been out, I believe, is Major League Fishing's. Tiger Warehouse Pro Circuit, as well as the Toyota Series. Rayburn gets hit twice in the Toyota Series the last 2 years. Usually there's an open there. Usually there's a pro event there of some sort, whether it be Bass or Major League Fishing or both in the same year. So Rayburn gets hammered. That one is tied in second. Okeechobee, I have this one marked yellow for a couple of reasons. So it has a total score of 17 points. I should probably be listing out these scores, but 17 points in the last 5 years. That one was hit pretty hard early on. 2016 is really carrying it with 5 points there. Right, that's a lot of points in this system. I think that's probably the most in 1 year that I've seen is 5. Oh, got that wrong. Sorry, I got Chickamauga had 6 in 2019. But, wow, I'm way off. St. Lawrence actually had 8 in 2021. But anyways, hopefully you're kind of getting the gist of this. But Okeechobee was really, really hot in the beginning in 2016. And then it kind of was pretty strong with 3-3-1, 3-3-2. And again, video-wise, hopefully you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Basically, we get to 17 points in the 5-year spread. Again, the three-way tie. The last one is Chickamauga. As you can see, Chick got hit really hard in 19 and 20. And into 2021, it got hit some as well. So it is really carrying itself in these last 3 years. We will get into the 3-year rankings in a second, but you can see it didn't even get hit in 2016 or 18. So Chick is definitely a place that should probably be on your bucket list if you're looking to go pro. The last two surprised me. I really thought that it would have been Florida or Rayburn being the top. I knew that some part of the northern swing absolutely would have a high percentage going to it every year. But I think that part of this has to do with when major tours go north, they really go to kind of the same areas. And I'm not, Bass has gone to Cayuga and some other lakes up north, as well as Major League Fishing and Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit. But, they really seem to hit the St. Lawrence or Thousand Islands, whether they go out of Clayton or Messina. They seem to go out of both of those two places a lot, as well as Champlain, which, look, I'm not complaining. I love watching those tournaments. I'm excited to go get on the St. Lawrence later this year. But as you can see, in 2021, St. Lawrence had 8 points. I mean, it's getting absolutely hammered this year, as people are aware with the schedule. But 20 points tied for first place between the St. Lawrence and Champlain. So if you are looking to be a professional bass fisherman and compete at the top level, you should probably get your butt to Champlain and St. Lawrence, because those two lakes go on the schedule almost every year, whatever schedule it may be. So another thing here, let's just look at the top lakes in the last 3 years. So these aren't in order now, right? It was in order with the 5 years, but in the 3 years, I've got these rankings over here on the right side. You've got Chickamauga being first. Not too much of a surprise there. St. Lawrence being second. I think we have a tie for third between Rayburn and way down here, Eufaula, Alabama. Eufaula, Alabama is a very unique one, because 2020 and 2021, again, this partially could have something to do with COVID, tournament trails wanting to stay close to home, but it had 5 points in 2020 and 6 points in 2021. So, I mean, realistically, it hadn't been hit at all in the previous 4 years, and it got 11 points in 2 years. So it was tied for third in the 3 most recent years. Probably an up and coming tour trail that may be there a lot, or it could have been had a lot to do with COVID. So I think for sure Rayburn, obviously you got to get there. Chickamauga, same kind of deal. Really has been hit hard in the last couple of years. That's the number one on the 3-year scale. As we go down, so again, first Chickamauga, second is the St. Lawrence, third is a tie between Rayburn and Eufaula. Fourth is Champlain. No surprise there. Fifth is Grand, Lake of the Cherokees, and fifth is also a tie with Gunnersville, between Grand and Gunnersville. Sixth is tied between Grand Lake. I'm sorry. Wow, I got things all messed up here. Yeah. All right. Grand, moving stuff around on the actual Excel file. Come on. It's like too big to let me move stuff. There we go. Okay. So Grand was actually sixth. So I'm sorry. Harris Chain was tied for fifth, as well as Gunnersville. Grand was a sixth place, along with way down here, Lake Fork in Texas. So a couple of things with Fork and St. John's. I really thought those two would have been way, way, way higher. They are both on, as far as the 5-year average is concerned, they are way, way down on the list. They're 9th and 10th, but you got to remember there's a ton of ties here. I mean, there's 3 ties for first, 2 ties for second, and there's a lot of ties, a bunch of ties for 7th and 8th. So St. John's River and Lake Fork, Texas, just are still important. All of these right in the top, say maybe 15, are very important to be aware of, and you just see guys get better as they go back to these lakes. But they surprised me not being in maybe the top 5 even. So that kind of attests to the marketing of some of these lakes, as well as how tournament organizations represent them. It makes you think differently about, I thought for sure, I mean, Bass goes to St. John's all the time, but that's been in the last 3 years they've hit it, and no really other tournament organizations have done that much there. As you can see, 2019, 2020, 21 are the 3 years I got hit really hard, but it's like, I don't know how important that is. I think Florida fishing in general is important, but St. John's, they go there every year for bass, but who knows how long they'll keep doing that, and it's just BASS. Lake Fork, same kind of thing. Really has just been hit in the last 3 years, and that's why it's in 6th on the 3 years, but all the way down here in 10th, again with all those ties on Fork. So really the takeaway from this, I just wanted to get some numbers put up on what lakes you really need to spend time at, and really what this is for me too. I mean, just as an angler, trying to push this thing and see as far as I can go where the places you need to get to learn these lakes, because I think that there's a lot to be said for that. I mean, obviously there's a skill level. There's a group of guys that are really, really good at breaking down water quickly and can win on places they've never been. Happens every year. But to me, once you consistently start going to a place, you have such an edge on just knowing where the boat ramps are, knowing where you're going to stay, like those kinds of things. All take mental. There's a finite number of decisions that you can make in a day, and if you're wasting those decisions on knowing where you're going to go to eat, where you're going to stay, where's the nearest boat ramp, all those things are not major decision makers and important factors in a tournament situation. And I feel like you need to have, on those practice days, those tournament days, as much of those decision-making powers, if you will, be part of your tournament fishing. So that reason, obviously, also just getting used to the fishing, learning areas. You talk about up north, if you find certain rock piles and structures, like rocks don't move, right? Like those things aren't going to go away. Grass can grow in different areas, but like you can use that stuff year after year after year, and at least have a starting path to that first day of practice. Go run stuff that you had found fish on the year before. Don't get married to it, but like you can learn so much more about these fisheries, the more times you go there. So just really wanted to get out for the people who are really interested in making this a career path and pushing on the tournament fishing scene, how consistent some of these places they go to are. We know that these organizations have multi-year deals with these municipalities. And so just really wanted to bring out some knowledge on this, and was going to, use it for myself. But I'm like, gosh, we need to share this information as much as we can, especially the Serious Angler platform, and get it out to people. Hopefully it kind of made sense. One thing I wanted to touch on, Miles Berghoff. So if you guys don't know who he is, you really need to check out Miles Berghoff on the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit. He is a guy who has outworked people to get to where he is. It's been his dream to be in professional fishing. And if you kind of listen to his story, he has moved around to pockets in the country where he was not doing well in tournaments. So Florida, he spent some time living in Florida, learned the Florida lakes, spent some time, now he's in Tennessee, living in Tennessee to learn Chickamauga. And those are paying big dividends for him to learn these fisheries that they're consistently going to. So that's kind of where I got some of this idea, was watching his career evolve to where he's got a lot more consistent and not really had bombs or as many bombs, simply because he's gotten used to fishing all these lakes and spending time on those bodies of water. He'd jump into BFLs wherever he was just for this exact reason. So hopefully that helps you guys. Again, I'm just going to read through the list because that was kind of confusing on how I set that up with the 3 or the 5 year, all that kind of stuff. So as far as the top lakes in the country, I'm just going to not even say anything about ties. Again, I'm going to exclude Kentucky Lake, even though that's the 10th. But let's go ahead and say 9th is Gunnersville, Alabama. Mississippi River in Wisconsin is 8th. Harris Chain is 7th. Grand Lake is 6th in Oklahoma. Sam Rayburn is 5th in Texas. Okeechobee in Florida is 4th. Chickamauga is 3rd. St. Lawrence River is 2nd. Champlain is 1st. Again, there's a lot of ties mixed in there, but that gives you a pretty base general line. And also can't forget about Eufaula and Pickwick over the last couple of years, especially. Again, COVID may have something to do with that there. But anyways, go ahead, screenshot the this list up here, guys. Do whatever you need to, just as far as to get some of that information out there and how I went through things. And I'd love to know your thoughts on, man, you shouldn't have maybe rated it this way. You shouldn't have it done it that way. I just really wanted to come up with a scoring system that could put numbers to this and say, here's the most visited places. Here's the scoring thought process that I have. So anyways, guys, would love to hear your comments. And really, more than anything, if you think that this is a viable thing, that guys need to go to these lakes consistently to be good, or maybe not. So like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We really appreciate that, and we will keep cranking out content. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm just going to make this really big. See if we can do that real quick. That doesn't really do much difference, but anyways, so appreciate it, and get ready for some fall fishing here, and I'm excited for just producing more content with everyone on the Serious Angler Network. Thanks, guys.